Okay, in the previous video, I discussed what they did compare when they first said that we're 98% similar to chimps. They were only comparing the the part of the genome that codes for protein, which is 2%, and they excluded the rest. So more now that we get the entire genome. In 2005, they got the entire genome, and they changed it to 96% similar. But that's not even true, because they're not even comparing the entire DNA. And of course, as we saw in a previous video, it depends how you're comparing it. Because we as humans, we're different from each other, but we have the same information. And how is that possible? The reason why we can be different from each other and having the same information is because we have different numbers of copies of the same information. Depending on the numbers of copies that we have, determines what's being expressed and what's not being expressed. And of course, there's the mixing of traits, which is part of the design of the human being, so that we don't all look the same. So in this video, I just want to show just exactly how much is similar to the chimps when you compare the entire DNA. And of course, this is something that they aren't showing. They're finally breaking down. They showed that, like the one video we showed, they're starting to admit that they're not comparing the entire genomes. And when they do, it's the video actually admitted that they weren't counting the DNA that's different, but it's the DNA that's different that makes us what we are. That's what makes us different. But anyways, I'm going to show this other part of the same clip, the same video by Dr. Purdom, where she's explaining just how much that we have in common with chimps. So let me see if I can get the window capture here. It's the wrong one. Okay.
So what is the reality? Okay, what if we don't exclude those 1.3 billion bases? What do we get? And so Dr. Tompkins' research, the most recent research that he's published on this, has shown there's only about an 84% similarity overall, just when you're looking at the aligned DNA. All right, I'll talk about the unaligned in a minute. Now you might think, well, that's only a 16% difference. Really, is that really that much? Well, that's 16% of 3 billion, which is 480 million differences. There's no geneticist in their right mind that thinks you can get 480 million differences in 6 million years, okay? It's not going to happen. That also doesn't count for the fact that you have about 4% of human DNA that has no alignment to chimp DNA, which brings the total similarity down to 80%.
So there we have it. It's clearly it's 80%. 80% similarity. That means 20%, and even probably even more, is not the same as chimps. And that's a lot of information when you're talking about the genome. And when you're talking about the fact that everything has to grow the same way, all mammals grow the same way, and clearly this shows that we're not copied from the same common ancestor. Because like I said, all humans have the same information, they just have different numbers of copies of the same information. And when you compare it to chimps, it's not the same information. So that's a lie exposed about evolution. evolution is just a flat out lie. And of course, Christians have always been telling the truth.